Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and Brenna and I are going for a little walk over to the new greenhouse at the nursery because Jerry and Andrew have been spending all of today and a couple of other days working on getting all of the electrical wires run. So we thought it would be a fun thing to go check on them, get an update on that situation, and go ahead and look at the side utility room because Matt, I think, his part is all done on that, and it looks fantastic. Jerry and Josh were able to get all of the panels put up and start all of those lines so that he and Andrew could be doing what they were doing today. So that's what we're doing. I do also want to give you an update. I thought maybe we could take a little walk through the pines here at the nursery because it is, of course, the middle of January here in North Carolina, and we've been having some of the coldest temperatures that we've had so far this year. So I thought we would go through and kind of see how all the plants are looking, even though they're in their containers, and just kind of get an overview to see how things are doing over there. And then we're going to head up to the production area because I believe Heather is up there working on some shrubs. So a lot of things are going on. We have perennials arriving tomorrow from Walter's Gardens, so that is super exciting. We'll definitely do a video. I'm sure probably the next video that you see will be about that, and then all of the different varieties, how they come to us, how we have to treat them, pot them up, so forth and so on. So be looking for that next video because there's a ton of them, and I cannot wait to see them because, of course, it's been since this summer since we placed our order, so I honestly don't know really what's coming, so it'll be a surprise for me too. So here we are at the greenhouse. Let's just check on the boys. Brenna. All right, so here we are inside of the greenhouse. And I told Jerry when I walked in, I said, I am just a glutton for punishment bringing a puppy into this greenhouse. You see all that stuff on the floor? Oh, it's just like a kid in a candy store. There she is somewhere. Oh, bless her. Anyway, so what Jerry and Andrew are working on is running all of the main wires and the conduit. So here we go as an example of all of the wires here and then this flexible conduit. Because obviously we are in a greenhouse, lots of moisture, lots of sun, lots of heat, we're gonna need those wires protected. So they are coming out, like this is one of the main boxes that Jerry and Josh worked on, and you can see that they have all the little green survey tape, and then it tells exactly like what it is. So these wires are for the shutters, this is for the outlets. So it's just a whole big ordeal. Let's go in here into the little room off to the side here, and so I can show you. You can see what Matt has done. So the paneling is all up and it's been painted white. Let's see if we can get Miss Brenna. There we go. I'm using the gimbal, the GoPro. Someone's very proud that they just picked up the roll of electrical the electrical tape. All right, so here we are in here. Sorry, y'all. I know this is a little like distracting. Puppies will do that to you. Okay, so in the room we have a lot of all the main panels. So this is going to be first just in general, the general electrical box, right? So this is where all the power comes into this greenhouse. We have all the breakers will go in here. And then from that, all of the wires come out. Then this that we see here, this is the panel that controls basically the heart of the greenhouse. So you have the climate boss right here that is obviously the thermostat and controls all of those guys. Then in here, this will be the heaters, the shutters, the roll-up sides, literally just all the different moving parts in there. And then those wires then go forth into the greenhouse. I believe Jerry said that they're going, yep, so if you will notice, there's that conduit coming up through the concrete and then into the greenhouse that way. So they have got the heaters are already wired, so they are good. But what's neat is, I hope that you'll be able to see this. Okay, so if you can see right here, the conduit comes up here and then they hit it and run it along the gutter all through the length of the greenhouse. So it's tucked up there. So if you're not specifically looking for it, you're not gonna see it. So that's nice. It's all kind of tucked up there and hidden. And then Jerry and Andrew are down here working on something. So let's go talk to them for a second. All right, so what Jerry's working on now is getting the wires to the shutters on the front of the greenhouses. So that conduit that I was showing you that ran down the length of the greenhouse is now tying into this box. And then from that box, it will split off to the left and to the right so that they can get power to the shutters that are at the tippy top on the end of each gable. So that is for the fresh air to come in. Brenna and I are going to take a little walk. You ready to go take a walk? All right, let's go. Out she goes. All right, the pup and I are off to go check on the plants over here in the pines. I feel like that was a little discombobulated. Hopefully that made a lot of sense. But we are gonna come over here and see how things are doing. All right, one thing that I wanted to check on was this bank that is behind the shopping area of the greenhouse. This is what I affectionately call Laura's bank, because we planted this bank for a video for Laura and Erin back when she was pregnant with Samantha Grace. And so we are going into, gosh, 1 year of it being planted. When we initially planted it, we used only shrubs in here. So the shrubs are growing, and then my mom and I came back through this spring and filled it with tons of perennials from Walter's Gardens that they had sent us to trial. But what is fun, what Brenna is standing right beside right now, is the Sweet Talker Viburnum. Hopefully, we'll start still learning plant manners here, but this is a fantastic, sorry about that, fantastic evergreen viburnum that is really for the South. It has beautiful pink blooms that the dog is trying to eat. Beautiful pink blooms on it, beautiful foliage. And it is called Sweet Talker because these little blooms smell wonderful. So she is looking quite nice for January. Let's take a little stroll here through the pines, because we do have some camellias that are still blooming. So the sasanqua's here. The hot flash obviously is a really pretty red camellia. We know it's a sasanqua because it has the smaller leaves on it. Here at the Lenten Roses, they are doing well. They've got lots of pretty foliage on them. Remember, this is just a first year Lenten Rose, but we do have a dashing groomsman right here that is blooming. Really, really dark purple, almost a black. Lovely. Remember, Lenten Roses, hellebore, are fantastic deer-resistant perennials. They are evergreen. For the most part, they're going to be shade-loving perennials. It just depends on your variety. Moving on down, we have, I was going to go check on, if you will remember, we planted this screen bed to help give a little bit of privacy down through the side of the pines, and it is coming along quite nicely. It's not even been in, I think, a full year almost now, and coming along nice. So here we are on the creeks, closest to the creek on the pines, and you will see this bed that we have in here. Again, the whole purpose of this bed was eventually to provide a little bit of a privacy screen, because you can see where we have the mulch pile right there. A lot of times that's where we're going to keep the mulch pile. And so these plants will all grow up and kind of block that just a little bit. So the bright lime green chartreuse colored shrubs that you see, those are Florida sunshines, fantastic evergreen. Then we have the gold dust acubas. Again, love these. These will get to be a nice size on them. The color on their foliage is just glorious. And then in the back, we have some rhododendrons and just a couple through there, and then some camellias in the very, very back that will grow up nice and large. And then my sweet mama, who has quite the collection of Lenten roses in her garden, has come through and started to really kind of fill in little pockets with lots of good Lenten roses here. So I am very excited about that. And then we do have 3 hydrangeas down here in the little pocket that are the LA Dreaming. I had to think for a second. This is the LA Dreaming hydrangea. It is a macrophylla. Of course, that beautiful classic mop head on it, that lots of gorgeous colors. So I am not pruning them. That's why you can see that they still have their heads on them. I will just leave those. Brenna is having the best time with the pine cone right there, and they bloom on old growth. So I do not want to clip those at all. Then I've had several of you ask about over here at the refrigerator. So we have more of the Florida sunshines that you can see in front of the bird feeder. And then right here we have got, now I know y'all, it is January, so they're looking a little rough right now, but the ferns right here, there's 3 of them. These are nice, huge ferns. Again, from my mama's garden. She got these from my Aunt Vonnie like 20, 30 years ago. And they are great. She needed to thin hers out. So I said, yes, I would love to have them. So in the summertime, of course, they're huge and gorgeous right next to the refrigerator. I will prune these once the new foliage begins to pop out. Then I will come in here and I will take away all of that old foliage. And there's Sweet Thing. She's she is due for a nap, and so she is feeling extra frisky right now. I might go ahead and go drop her off at the house before I move up to the production greenhouse, because I can just only imagine that would not go well. Like I said, I've said it once, I've said it again. Puppies are like little toddlers at your house. You've got to give them the naps, otherwise they turn into little holy terrors. You love them to pieces, but on my word, they need to sleep. All right, my friends, I got the puppy put in her kennel so she can take a nice nap and be pleasurable to have around again. I do want to give you a little update here. I was going to walk over to the Kubota so we could go to the production area, but I wanted to give you an update here on this little shade bed that is one of my favorites, and I think it's become one of your favorites too. So here we are. It's just right off of our front porch. We've got hydrangeas in here and eucharis. This is what I call Franny's hydrangea that is going to get moved. For my folks who are buried under snow, can you see what's on the tips of this hydrangea? Yes, it has started to put out new growth. However, we are now back into the low 20s at night, so that is getting zapped. Franny's hydrangea is going to come out, and I have decided that I am going to put The white by the gate camellia that I have sitting right here, she is going to take Franny's place, and I will get a nice trellis for her to go up, but she's got plenty of room on this wall to grow and be very happy. Look at these two hellebores and look how gorgeous they are. If you're going to do any kind of pruning to your Lenten roses hellebore, all you want to do is to remove any of the older foliage that is on the outside of the plant. I did that to these just last week, and it really just makes the blooms and the flowers pop. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, love it. But the rest of the bed, for the most part, is pretty empty, but it will not be long before spring is here and this bed wakes up yet again. So we're gonna hop in the Kubota and we're gonna run up to the production greenhouse and see what's going on up there. So here we are at the production area, and you will see behind me that we still have yet to put the covering on this greenhouse. Jerry and the folks, Andrew, Heather, were going to do that this morning, and they went to go grab the plastic that arrived yesterday. Atlas sent the cover that was coming right for the greenhouse. And it was supposed to be a nice solid white plastic. It's a storage shed. We're not going to be growing things in here. The solid white keeps out more of the UV, protects what's inside, so forth and so on. Well, Atlas had accidentally sent the clear poly instead of a solid white, so they weren't able to do that. But no fret, Atlas is amazing. It is on the truck already and will be here tomorrow. We're just delayed a little bit, but we will show you that, of course, as we in this next video. So, because we have got to get the stuff out of here so that we can put it into there. Let me explain why. Okay, so I am in the greenhouse that I was just showing you, and we have had a lot of new subscribers and viewers since our last growing season. So I want to give you, those of you that are new or are relatively new, just to give you a little bit of a catch up so you can understand what's going on. This is our production area. We have two of these greenhouses right beside of each other. This one, they're the exact same size, so forth and so on. The difference is, though, that this is an unheated greenhouse. So technically it is a cold frame, but man, it does beautiful. It grows gorgeous plants, does wonderful. So in here, you will notice all of those little white things hanging from the ceiling. All of those would have one hanging basket. So one dripper per hanging basket. We fill it up in here. Tons of annuals will go in here. But what's going to go in here now is perennials. Before those perennials come and we start potting them up, all of this stuff has got to go outside, including all of these boxes. You're like, well, Jenny, what's in the boxes? Huh, so glad you asked. What is in the boxes is the trays and the pots for all of the annuals. They are, so let's see, I think you can see it here on the tag where it says it is the 10-pack Proven Winners Standard White, so that is the trays. All of these things will go into right next door once we get that cover on in that dry storage. So that will go in there. And then we've got some perennials in here and some shrubs that we potted up in the fall. They can now go outside and be fine and go through dormancy outside. The new stuff is going to come in, and so we have got to make way for that. Also, you will see the pallets of our retail stuff. So this is the big bags of Biotone. small bags of biotone, and then plant tone. Again, it's up here for storage. This whole entire greenhouse has got to get cleaned out so that we can get some new plants in here growing for this new 2022 season. So that is the deal, and that is why we are kind of like, all right, we got to move. We got the logistics, right? The logistics, if you run a business or you're in any of that kind of stuff, you understand that, you know, step B can't happen until step A is completed. So that is where we are. I do want to give you, let's see. I think we've been to the other greenhouse. Let's just go outside and see what else we can get into. Today's one of those days. It's just kind of like, what fun stuff can we find ourselves to get into? That's where I find myself today. It's kind of fun. Next order that production, what we call it's called production 1 because we built it first, and we call this one production 2 because we just built it second. We built this, we were building it this time last year, and if you will remember, we just had the concrete put in here. Now, this greenhouse will house most of the annuals. Of course, it will have the hanging baskets just like next door. So all of those little white cords you see hanging from the ceiling, those are drippers. So from those irrigation drippers, obviously we can do water and we can do fertilizer. You'll notice that they are at 2 different heights, so we can get a double row of hanging baskets on there. Last year when we had our annuals in here, basically this whole bay was filled. We had a very small, maybe 3 foot wide path here. Then the whole center was completely full of trays. Then we would have another little 3 foot wide walking path, and then over here. Now, what was on this ground in this whole entire greenhouse was the Proven Winners trays. It was all annuals. So a tray will hold 10 annuals, and if you can imagine, this is a 70 by 40 something greenhouse. It's a little over 7,000 square feet. So to say that it held for us in our nursery, it was a lot of plants. Now I know you're talking about the big, huge mega nurseries. It's not that big of a deal, but for us, it's a pretty big deal. And then you walk in here and you see it's just pure white trays and pots and gorgeous flowers. I think I know that I do have lots of pictures that I can flash up and show you, because man, especially if you're covered in snow right now and it's freezing cold, seeing these beautiful flowers, oh, it just gives you the itch for spring. But I think what we're going to do for today is just kind of sign off, because we have got a lot of fun things, really kind of like I said, to show you in the next 2 days. So that will be in the next video. Walter's Gardens, of course, all those beautiful perennials will be arriving. Going to get that dry storage, get it covered, get some things moved. Again, this was just kind of one of those a little bit slower days here at the nursery. Work is still progressing, but like the electrical, it's just kind of tedious work, right? It's not something really fun and exciting where you can see this big, massive difference, but it's still really important. You got to get your fundamentals in to give you the results later on. So that's just kind of what day it is here at the nursery. But as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.